amazing conduit, and he was just a very simple, straightforward, no fuss guy. And as Harold would say, I don't know how it works, and it doesn't matter. We just know that it works. And the exciting thing is that in talking to his wife is that other healers are experiencing the opportunity to have Harold and come and work through them to do healings on their behalf or on the behalf of source consciousness, which opens the question that if you're a healer, that if you have, if you're in a lineage of healers or you learn from some healer that's passed on, guess what? You can call that healer in to work with you, work through your hands and through your ability to heal. And it's like having your whole team to arrive and to help you do that. If you don't have somebody like that, then you can always learn about the medical assisted program where you can call in other dimensional beings like your guides. Think of them as a council, a healing council. You can call them in to do it. So what we were saying is that even before we were talking about doing a healing on the dog, the team was already going ahead of us and doing the healing.
The broadcast has been interrupted. Every time we start talking about this, they interrupt us. Every single time. Well,
that's all right. It's being recorded, so not to worry. Stay on track. So mental health, that's the topic today. And being mentally clear, the best way to do that, as we said, is a deep clearing protocol. It's and of course, there's also the power of the group. We wanted to talk about. Let's see if there was this is for somebody I've been working with, and yesterday his comment was, I was doing the deep clearing, he said, see if I can find it here. He was saying that I was doing the deep clearing and I was getting amazing results after doing it, and I don't feel that I'm under attack anymore. And then we talked about, can I do it for my 13-year-old child? And I said, yes, you can do it for your full lineage. You're clearing 6 generations into the past, 8 generations into the future. When you're clearing yourself, you're clearing 64,500 souls. That got him really excited. Today he's talking about, well, what about all of these young people that have been, that have been part of the whole pornography rings that are being discovered and released? What about all that? Can all that be cleaned up? Can that trauma be cleaned up, and can that situation be rectified? And is that something that the Social Justice Committee could handle? And I went back to him and said, absolutely, yes. That's exactly what the Social Justice Committee is working on as a collective. And we meet once a week to do that. It's now called the Oneness Network of Light. And if you want to go over and put that into Facebook, you will see that the Oneness Network of Light, I think there's over 1,000 people in the network. So if you have a request, you can private message us, or you can put a request in the Oneness Network of Light about what you would like a group healing to do. So the power of the group, 12 around 1, or 2 or more gathered in my name, there am I. So 12 is 3 times 4. It's an amazing number to work with the center, the 13th being source consciousness. So it really is, I would say, the next evolutionary step in cleaning up humanity and learning how to co-creatively work together, not only with Divine Mother, but with Mother Gaia, is the concept of 12 around 1. There's been 12 Knights Templar. There's been 12 disciples around Christ. There's been, there's in King Arthur's court, there was 12 around the round table. So there's 12 crystal skulls around the master skull. So 12 around 1 is, when you look at 12 around 1, you're looking at the geometrical form of the flower of life, which is a basic building block of flower of life, all the way up and all the way down. So it is part of the universal code and keys for planet Earth for our own evolution of consciousness. Now, do we have any requests out there?
No, nope. We're just getting people back.
All right. So I'm going to go back over to mental health and talk a bit about mental health, the 10 things that you can do to help yourself to be able to stay in your body and not freak out, right?
Yeah.
So the things that you can do for your friend in a very natural way, one of the things is that people don't really want to talk about mental health issues because it's too scary. Like this is really a stigma for most people. Oh, I'm feeling mentally out of sorts. So if you are having a friend, know of a friend who's going through a crisis, then you can say, hey, I understand things are really difficult for you. Would you like me to come over? And this would be one for Laura, and wash your hair, right? Or
Yeah.
could I come over and cook your dinner? Or can I come over and clean your kitchen? Or can I take your kids for the afternoon? You see where I'm getting at? Is that really that's the best way to do suicide awareness and prevention, is to be able to step in and take the pressure away so that they can heal themselves, right? So just another way in which you can help those that you know that are in crisis. And for you as an individual, if you feel in crisis, if you feel trapped, then there's 10 ways in which you can escape. I also encourage you to do 911 and to get help through whatever services are available. But the way to change your consciousness and to settle down, of course, is that you can escape into a book, you can have a nap, you can do some daydreaming. You can visualize what it is that you want to manifest in the future. You can make a storyboard of what you want to create in your life. You can write down your stories so far in a journal. You can do a whole exercise on forgiving yourself, which is a really good one. You can think of others and what are able to give to make other people feel happy, because when you help serve others, that will free you from the own trauma. You can do love yourself exercises, like you can take a hot bath and with Epsom salts, put in some essences and light yourself a candle and
Mhm.
just love yourself. You can meditate. So
Oh,
these are all just ways to overcome the fear that is so prevalent on the planet right now because of COVID-19 and the lockdown and social distancing and just feeling really, really overwhelmed. And fear is the virus, right? And love and laughter is the antidote. Okay. So,
wow, essential oils.
yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. Calming essential oils.
yeah, for sure. Taking a walk in nature with a
Yeah.
good friend, crying.
And I forgot, yeah, I'm crying, and I forgot to get my wrap. My wrap is just behind me, but, Felicia's Reed's wrap of just wrapping yourself in a blanket, or Felicia makes these wraps for people that are in trauma. You just
Yeah.
put the wrap on and you just feel like you're just being hugged, right? You're just being hugged by something greater than yourself.
Knits prayer shawls. So when she's knitting, she will knit a prayer into the shawl for people, and they love them. In fact, I buried my Charlie in one
Mm,
prayer shawls. So sweet. Yep, they're powerful things that anyone can do for other people. Knitting shawls or scarves are very easy, and you can every time you sit down, you just say a prayer for whomever is going to wear this to find peace and tranquility in their life, and allow the because it's prayer shawls are typically given during grieving times, but you can, I mean, grief comes in many different ways, right?
right. I mean, you don't have to be grieving. You just put it on to feel good, right?
Well, sometimes we're grieving and we don't even know it. We're loss of friends, or just feeling down and out for no reason. We just don't even understand it.
Right.
So
Absolutely. In fact, if you're not experiencing bliss right now, you're grieving.
it's true.
I guess we're all grieving. I mean, our natural state is joy and bliss. So for most of us, that is something that, well, it happens periodically, or like a
Yeah.
flash in the pan, or a microsecond or whatever, but that's our natural state when you're one with source consciousness. And so in many ways, we're all grieving. We're all feeling at loss from the moment we're born and take our breath. We're connected to source, and then we lose that divine connection over time because of the world that we live in, and the duality. So all of us at fundamental level have some grief. it's a feeling of loss. It's a feeling of disconnect from primary consciousness, from source, from God or the divinity of all that is. And that's really the fundamental grief, right? The irony is that that solution to that is not the pining for something outside of ourselves, but actually the discovery of loving ourselves unconditionally inside of ourselves and forgiving ourselves, that allows us to make that connection, right, with the divine, which then cures that mental illness, because we are now one with source, and therefore there's no separation. So mental illness is a sense of being separated from the whole, from each other, from your loved ones. Nobody understands me, you know, I feel separated. So helping people to get reconnected and to know that they are loved for who they are is really, really important.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, a
You
lot
know,
of,
since you've done the deep cleaning protocol, that you grieve much, I grieve much quicker now. What used to take me weeks or months or years, hours maybe.
I'm getting better in the sense that I'm catching myself, you know, like it's rainy out there and blah, blah, blah. And I can look at it and say, oh, no. Or I can catch myself and make it, yeah, it's bragging and showing off, but it's sunny outside.
Sunshiny.
Yeah. Yeah, which is easy to be like this with your son. But when it's raining, you can get depressed pretty quick. So, but really what it is do I want to look at the rain and say, wow, that's going to make my corn grow amazingly, right? Yeah, it may split my cherries, but oh well. You know, it's really a mental attitude. I get a choice in every moment. Do I want to go to my human mind consciousness that makes me feel that I'm separate from source, or do I want to step into my true nature and know that all of this is for me to remember who I am in every moment? And it's my choice. Do I want to be depressed? Am I my human mind consciousness? Oh, it ain't right. Or if I was God, I'd make it different. Or ain't it awful? Or whatever. And my mom was really a master at that. Everything was, oh, that's really nice, dear, but wouldn't it be nice if, right? So nothing was perfect in her world. And I, you know, I have a tendency to pick that up. And I, you know, Sarah is correcting me in a loving way, you know, by reminding me that that's a choice. I can look at it that way, or I can just say, wow, it's perfect just the way it is in this moment. And if it's going to change, it'll be perfect when it changes. And so to really love what's in the moment, then there's no grieving, and therefore there's no expectation, and I'm not mentally beating myself up. It's not perfect. It's not my job to make it perfect anyway. Not my job to make society perfect. My job is to make myself, inside of myself, more loving.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
No.
That's the dealing with your own emotions and your own self is enough for anyone.
Well,
Like,
it's a full-time job.
you imagine having to be responsible for somebody else's crap?
Well, that's, you know, what it, but isn't that really what is going on when it comes to abuse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he's abusing me, but he truly loves me. And I can be able to, if I stay with him any longer, he's getting better and he apologized. And I'm just going to stay with him because I know that he can really improve, and, you know, until the next time, right? So
wait, there's always a next time, girls. Remember that. Even guys, though, you know, women abuse men too.
oh, yeah, absolutely they do. Yeah, absolutely they do. I mean, if you look at a lot of the TV comedy shows now, which I don't watch anymore, it's always the man is the stupid one. The man is always downplayed. It's the woman that is shown as being the one that's really wearing the pants. So it's like Hollywood and the powers that be want to devaluate the male as not being capable of being a true male in the family, which I think is, you know, I don't think we need to depict the man as the macho Trojan warrior. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, the comedy is an inequality between the male and the female. Whether it's Archie Bunker being a redneck, you know,
Racist, yeah.
racist, and putting down Edith, or whether it's the other way around. I can't think of one of the ones where, you know.
But I will say that Edith always stayed in her female power along with her daughter. Her daughter and her like balanced each other out in the feminine, because there's power in being a female and holding that space and allowing the man to be the provider and the
Yeah, but
strong.
there's no need to have a relationship with that like that. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, if you're
Right.
in a
No,
power and balance relationship,
yeah.
it's time to wake up and choose, that.
How do these men learn? By women leaving them. That's how they learn.
Well, I don't think so that necessarily they just go into grieving, into poor me and whatever, and then they repeat it all over again. So, I mean, I think some people can, but the point is, this whole thing about, when we'll be talking about this week, and sexual equality and sex and marriage, or lack of marriage or whatever, that whole relationship between male and female is really what we're being asked to look at. And when we consider, do we really want to go back to normal? People say, well, we're going to go back to normal. I don't want to go back to normal. There was nothing really that worked in normal that I want to go back to. I don't know about you, but certainly our mental health, we didn't know how to do that properly. We didn't have a police force that we could trust. We didn't have a hospital system that was working properly. We certainly didn't know how to take care of our elderly. Our school system was stuck in the 50s, training people to be good cogs in the wheel in a factory that doesn't exist anymore. What am I missing out? Is there anything? Our politics certainly don't work because we're in opposition all the time. The whole idea of the mighty ruling the unmighty, that doesn't work. So what do we want to go back to normal? I mean, why would we want to do that? This is our opportunity to choose something different. So
Right.
this is our opportunity to reconfigure what it is that we want to show up individually and collectively, right? And part of that is getting rid of the trauma and the fear and the doubt and mentally being responsible for our own health, which is, do we want to choose, oh, ain't it awful? And I got to do something to fix it, or it's just okay the way it is. And I need to love myself and love what's happening around me as what needs to happen for everybody to wake up. So it's a different way of seeing the world around you. The world hasn't changed, just your interpretation and your emotions in looking and processing the world around you changes, right?
Yeah.
That's the key, right? That's the key. Well, it's very quiet out there. Don't forget this toll-free number, 1-866-369-7464. I don't know if we're still online. Is
Yeah.
there any
Yep.
questions out there? Any,
Um,
and anybody on Zoom, don't forget you can bang things into the chat, type things into the chat, and or you can raise your hand. I think you can raise your hand here
yeah.
uh, and let us know that you have some comments that you'd like to share about mental health. Mental health.
Yeah, the mental health of with the COVID too, you see it with people just like freaking out about like just like completely overreact, not overreact. I don't want to say that, but they're so scared, and
They're
that
stressed, yeah.
that makes me sad because it's so difficult on the human being. But then I think, but that's where they need to be, and that's their, their it's where they need to be. And I'm just going, I've succumbed to like I went to the hardware store and I put the mask on. If it makes other people feel better, fine. As soon as I get outside, I take it off. I don't require it in my own life, in my own work. But if it makes other people feel comfortable, I'll do it. I just don't want to. I don't know how to make other people understand that that this is just normal, and why I just want them to understand, which I don't believe that they can at this point, understand why this is being done.
No, I don't think so either. But and standing in line in the post office, there was only a few people with masks on, due to social distancing and making everybody wanted to just go through the inner door into the post office, and they have to be reminded that you have to line up and be 6 feet apart. I'm so used to living in our little community here where we just had social party and everybody came to the campfire and we just, we're hugging and we're doing normal things, right? So I forget that there's another world out there that's doing crazy making, and God bless them all. And I understand that people are freaked out and that there's certain rules that they need to abide by. But since when is wearing a mask or not wearing a mask an indication of not only my bias or whether I'm Republican or Democrat, or whether I vote this way or that way, or whether I'm exercising my freedom or not, or whether I'm a good person or a bad person, or whether I'm a cowboy or an Indian, or whether I'm a bandito, or I'm sick. I mean, it just gets so confusing. I can't even see your full face, so I can't even see what you're doing. I mean,
I know.
what your feelings are, right?
Yesterday in the line at Costco, and I was like, I smiled back and I'm like, can you even tell him? I almost was like, hi, put it back down. And then to talk to the lady, I had to pull it down to be able to say, are you accepting cash now? And she's like, yeah. You could tell she was just like, just come on. She's like, just throw your stuff up here. It's all fine, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
I know. And everywhere you go, it's plexiglass everywhere. I don't know. I should be in the plexiglass industry, boy. They're making a killing, right? It's hanging everywhere.
I want to know if Trump is in the plexiglass somewhere. Come on, you can. And there he is, making millions.
Everywhere I go, I bump my nose into plexiglass. Step back from the counter, please, right? Keep your distance.
You?
Look, if it keeps people feeling secure, and I know that because of the regulations, if you're a post office and you're an employee of the government services, or if managing a restaurant or whatever, there's rules that you have to comply with. Hey, I've got rules here that we have to do with our water. Look, what if I choose to drink water and according to somebody else it's polluted? It should be my business. But when the state interferes and says, no, you can't do that, you have to do it this way, you have to chlorinate it, and you have to do that. Mm-hmm. At what point is my government really protecting me, or is it just in the way of who I am? This is the question, right? And so what sort of normal do you want to inherit? You're holding up your phone, so you must have something you want to say.
Sharon Perry wants to say something, I'm going to read it, but back to normal, we're never going to go back. I don't know what that is anymore. And they're like putting masks on as though this is what normal is going to be from now on. I hope not. I want to rip them off of everyone and say, let's just all die then if we can't see each other smile. I just don't want to do it.
We better put them on our dogs too, then.
I'm feeling under attack from my ex-partner. I trigger him because I'm continually called out, because I continually call him out, and he is smearing my name amongst his family and others that I am crazy. This man is a predator. I will happily see a psychiatrist to prove my sanity. The lies, gaslighting, and years of abuse takes its toll. I'm doing deep clearing. I cleared my son and him, trying to clear all the outside energies. I don't think he will ever change, ever. Well, okay, right there, let's change that thought pattern. I want my children and I to be free of the dark energies. The Ty is my children. He demands to see. I won't leave them alone with him. I'm trying to be accepting. I think he's seriously mentally ill and deeply cruel, but I've seen other women unjustly had their children taken from them declared mentally ill. That's what he wants to see happen to me. That's so wrong, for my children. We see this a lot, don't we, Ty? We even have
that's why we have the Social Justice Committee or the Oneness Network of Nightlight, because a lot of what I would call psychopaths really win in court because they can con anybody and everybody. And don't forget, most of the courts are really pro-male. They somehow, for some reason, because of their machoism, I want to support the male as Big Daddy is, anyway, it's justice. The court does have nothing to do with justice. This is the important thing to do. If you want true justice, you got to take it to the Court of Atonement. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's where the universal law of do no harm, not only to yourself, but anybody else. That's the only level of justice. So stop trying to prove yourself right. Stop warring. Look, as soon as you oppose anybody, you're in a war. If you want to meet a demon and he knocks at the door, punch him in the nose. And then you're going to be in a war and you're going to get to wrestle with demons for the rest of your life.
And what's
If the demon knocks on your door, you say, hello, what you doing here? And start laughing. That's what you need to do. I mean, I know it sounds crazy and I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but stop fighting with your ex. Stop it. Just stop it. Leave him to hell alone. Do you understand what I said? Leave him to hell alone. It's his own hell. Let him go to hell on his own. He doesn't need any help from you whatsoever. If you just, I'll tell you what, if you shut up and do nothing, it'll drive him crazy. You'll just get more trouble and more trouble and more abuse. And it'll be so obvious that he's over the top that no court will give him your kids, okay? If you resist him, it's guaranteed you're in a fight and you're liable to lose your kids. I'm not saying you're going to. Don't do that, right? Don't do that.
Do is to be quiet. And I've said this, I've told this to other people. If you are in front of your abuser and they're saying nasty things to you and talking and talking and talking, just stand there with no expression on your face. Just look at them straight in the eye and just send them love. And that mirror is going to start to explode back on them. And then they'll get very angry in the beginning, but then all of a sudden the shame and the guilt and all of it will start to come in. And then they'll start to feel what it is that they're doing to you. Don't react. Don't react.
You can practice it. They phone you on the phone. That's the easier way of doing it. You can just hold the phone out here, right? And then when you hear a pause, you bring it in and say, is there anything else you need to tell me about that? And then you hold the phone out here and you let them go around you. And then you bring the phone in and say, are you feeling any better now? And then you hold the phone out there. And you just keep doing that, right? You don't have to listen to conversation. You just let them wind down. They just keep winding and winding and unwinding and unwinding until there's nothing more that they can say. And then they get to their true nature. And then it starts to make sense to them that they're not getting a reaction and this game is not working anymore, right? Because the game goes like this, bang, 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 like ping pong, right? If you step away from the table, there's no game.
I think that when two people care deeply about one another and they want to try and solve things, that there's a lot of like, blah, 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 blah. When there's complete like, okay, I give up, I'm just done, and you hold it out, it's over. Now the hearts that have been screaming at each other for so long over here, now they need to come back together in silence. And only then will they come back and able to have harmony with one another.
Or for the kids.
Especially for the kids.
And don't forget, you can always go to mediation. I mean, the whole thing about mediation is that as a mediator, trained mediator, the whole thing is to get the person to shut up and listen to what the other person has to say to them. And they get to no rebuttal, no, yes, buts are allowed. You have to listen to what A says to B, and then B has to repeat what they heard A say. Then you ask A, did B get everything that you were saying? Now this all happens before B gets to even open their mouth, right?
Yeah. Well,
and B does that for A, and you would be amazed, just 2 or 3 rounds of that, and people get to listen to each other for the first time.
Exactly. Sharon says, yes, I've practiced, hold on, non-resistance. However, I hadn't been sending love, which is, I believe, the most important part. And also, Sharon, in the beginning of our Facebook post live, the first one that got cut off, in the very first 5 minutes, if you go to the Wellness Academy and you listen to the first part of this show, Tyson does a clearing in the very beginning, in the first like 5 minutes, right, Ty?
Actually, the best place to do this, if you're on Facebook, is just go to the Wellness Show, okay? Closed Facebook group. All the shows are right there. You can pick them up right there.
You mean YouTube? Is that what you meant?
No, the Wellness Show on Facebook. the closed group has all the shows there. You need to join the group.
I didn't know.
And I'm going to close down the open group because I want people to sign in. I want people all to be in the same place. So if you're in the open page book for the wellness show, that will be closing down. I'm sending everybody a notice to close that I'm closing down. I want everybody over in the group, because that way we can give you the backstory. We can tell you what's going on, what shows are coming up. It's our way of communicating. And everybody who's been interviewed on the show in the past can post there about what their latest thing they're working on. It's to really be a networking for everybody who's been on the show and will be on the show in the future. And so it's a network of those that have been interviewed on the show and those that are listening to the show. It's your way to talk to each other in a very protective environment, right?
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michael, our producer, said to Sharon, there is no defense against love. I did this with my former wife over 10 years ago, and literally the day after I started, I've never heard from her again. And Sharon said, thank you. And then Debbie says, you can do this, Sharon. You are a sacred warrior woman. The universe never gives us more than we can handle. Thank you, Debbie. Just know that, too, that Sharon, that we love you, and that our love is also now in with your love. So when you give that to your ex-husband, that now he'll feel all of our loves. Yes, everyone, we're going to give Sharon Perry's ex-husband love. Just send it right now from your heart to him, even if it's just an intention.
And don't forget, we'll put that also into the Social Justice Committee or the Oneness Network of Light, and there'll be a group healing coming out to him as well. Powerful transformation that happens in this group is just like, whoa. And some of the cases are so over the top, unbelievable, horrible, and we get feedback almost instantaneously, at least with 12 to 24 hours of major transformation. Either the perpetrator gets picked up or the kids get returned, or all sorts of stuff that you would never think could happen happens very, very quickly. So, you know, there is no, whatever you said, there is no, what did you say? No something against love. There is no, what did Michael say?
So there's no defense against love. I did this with my former wife.
So there's no defense against love. When you do it as a group, you just magnify the power of that. So one of the things is we do is a love bomb. We take all the hate, resentment, and anger, we multiply it by 1,000, and we drop it back as a love bomb. Right?
Let's do it. God, I love the love bomb. I forgot about the love bomb.
Well, we should come up with another word than the bomb, but anyway, I love explosion. So it sounds violent, but the whole thing is not intended to be violent. It's intended to be, well, look, she's pouting already. It is to shake them up and with love, right?
Yes, love bomb is good. I like love bomb. Boom.
All right.
Love you. Boom.
I know. We'll call it bomb. BALM.
Love balm.
Balm, yeah, not bomb.
Like ooey gooey, soft and chewy.
Yeah, exactly. Love bomb. Like you put a love bomb in your hot bath, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it feels so good. So we'll call it the love bomb, not bomb.
Balm. BALM.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do the love balm.
I can tell she's still doing the love bomb, but that's okay.
I said balm.
Yeah.
Balm.
Just explode them right out of the water, right?
Do you remember the love bomb? How to do it?
Yeah, sure you do. Okay. So you take whoever is directing the energy at you. This comes from the Masters of Far East, and there was a bandito that was going to be invading the village, and the village was not, surrounded by the monastery, the walls of the monastery. So the people in the village came to the monastery and said, we're about to be attacked and we're really worried, and what can we do? Can we come stay with you in the monastery because these banditos are coming to rape and ransack and pillage? And the head of the monastery said, not to worry, not to worry. He says, well, just take the energy of this bandito that's gathering all of the forces that is about to attack the village, and we're just going to multiply that, can't remember what it was, by 100 or 1,000 or whatever. And we're going to send it back as pure divine love. So this comes from the Masters of the Far East. And I thought, wow, if Masters of the Far East, which are light beings, can do this, I guess we're allowed to do that too. So that's where the love bomb came from. So we just take whatever is being directed at you, which is abuse, sexual, physical, mental, religious, or whatever. You just take that energy, you multiply it by pure divine love by 1,000%, and you just send it through the back channel. Okay, one more thing. People say, I don't watch TV anymore because it affects me and it makes me feel negative and I'm going to turn my TV off. Fine, go ahead. But what if there's a back channel to the TV? There's all those towers everywhere, right? It's being broadcast on you. Who says you can't do a back channel, right?
Right.
Energetically. So why don't you take all that negativity from whatever's coming at you and multiply it by 1,000, through the back channel? You got all that broadcasting, you could send it globally, right? You send them all love, right? Take that, and take a little bit more of love here. And how about a little bit of love over here, right? And love over there, and here, and there, and everywhere. And let's see how you do with that, Mr. Trump, with all this love. Ooh. We're gonna make you into a love bunny.
Would
All right, so that's how you do it.
We got to talk about your show tonight with Sharon, and then we got to go.
All right, so come and join us in the Radical Earth Heart Resonance show tonight at 5 o'clock. We're going to do some clearing around land. So if you want to learn how to clear land in a group, then come and join the show. Also, it's just a really amazing time to hang out together with Mother Earth, with the collective energy of just being one with all that is. We talked about how nice it is to feel when you're in meditation or just hanging out with friends, whether it's around the campfire. So this is like a online campfire, your opportunity to just hang out with us and enjoy the show. It usually runs for 2 hours. There's Shelley Darling, co-host, Tyson Manning, and usually Charlie Riverman shows up as well, which he has his own show. He's awesome. And yeah, just come and groove with us.
Cool. So it's 6 p.m. Central and 8 p.m. Eastern is the show. Just so you know.
Yeah, and it's just head over to goodofthewhole.org. It will give you the links to join the show. And by the way, it opens with a Mayan ceremony every morning. It runs all day long, and there's even a closing ceremony after us. So if you're get bored anytime during the day, which I don't know what that is, but if you are, you can tune in at any time, and the shows are amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Goodofthewhole.org. So that's it for this show. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Yeah. What are we doing now? Do you know?
Oh, it's something or other. I don't know. Those guys are going to talk about something.
We'll talk about something. Wellness Wednesday.
Oh, sacred sex. This is Michael.
Oh,
he wants to get us into trouble. So that's his idea. I'm innocent, truly innocent. All right, sacred sex tomorrow.
Sacred sex and relationships.
That's right.
Bye for now.
All right, all the hot stuff tomorrow. See you then.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.